Hello everyone and welcome to my second official tutorial of Supreme Commander Setons. So this time I'm gonna be talking about the air spot and how to play it, and yeah, so like I did with the beach spot, I talked first about the basics about this spot and then continue about the build order, and after the build order I'll give you some basic advice on how to properly use your ASF. So to begin with, like you can see, which I have in this little box now with the cursor, these are your maxes, and here these are your trees, like this. I can think now you can see it better. Here, this is your tree reclaim area. You basically got the most trees because of the most power you need for res, and so on. And what another thing is about air spot, air and front are the only spots where you have same amount of maxes in terms of your opponent, and on air it's secured that you have the same amount of maxes because you have 12 and he has 12. On the mid it's just about who's where and where's the front base and if they have front bases and so on. So you have 12 basic maxes which you could upgrade and a lot of trees. Usually people don't meddle with them, but there are some people who think are like, oh, let's steal some trees on the from the air player. But yeah, so I'm gonna start with kinda hard build on air, because the new air times is like latest 10 minutes with double res, and I'll make my double res and I'll show you how to play the spot. So we start off with the build now. As usual, you start off with land factory. You make your 4 maxes, make like, that depends on how many you want. My build order is like 7 pigeons after the 4 maxes, and yeah, that's so the basic build order. You don't do anything more with the ACU. And so another thing is, as you see from the comm explosion, the trees are getting blown away and burned up, and usually this tree group here is not burned. Sometimes it is, mostly it isn't. So what I'm gonna do is have an attack move out of the factory as usual because of the reclaim range. Then my first engineer is with move command here. Like this time it's broken, the trees, so normally I'd reclaim it. Then I move like here and make build the hydro, not too far in, because otherwise you actually break the other tree groups, which is not that good. So just skew it up. The next engineer goes like here, reclaims these trees, which here are broken as well, so no need to care about them. Just move here, here, reclaim the trees on the way. So with this engineer, I wanna grab this. I wanna grab these 2 maxes with the second engineer, and on the way I'm just clicking randomly to grab all the trees, so I don't break them, because later on in my build it's kinda good to have these tree groups to get power. So the third engineer actually should go to the more important maxes, the 3 up down here. Why I say they're kinda more important, because here you have the trees and you kinda wanna grab the maxes and build a factory as fast as possible so you can grab these trees when you're about to do your res, which is kinda really important. In the early game, especially my build order is kinda micro intensive, and that's why I'll pause a lot and slow down the speed, because otherwise I can't explain what I'm doing. Scenes build orders are usually about autonomous making all the commands you tell them to, and it's really time intensive, so you need to hurry up placing your builds, placing your factories and stuff, and so on. So, as you could see, the power actually never went really far down. It was, it kind of went far down, but it never stalled power, because the issue is if you power stall, you don't get mass. So always build maybe a little bit more power than mass. So the next thing is, now another engineer finished from my factory. Now you can see that I've a lot of broken tree groups here, and here these are broken, so I can't really reclaim in the next area around my factory. What I'm doing is I put my next engineer, only one engineer, down here. Down here, so it reclaims these unbroken trees really fast. So to repeat the build order again, so you all get it into: first engineer, hydro; second engineer, does 2 maxes; third engineer does 3 maxes; fourth engineer goes with these 4 maxes and builds factory. Same as with the third and the fourth and the fifth. The fifth engineer goes like around the trees, so he don't break them. You can move them a little bit better and build another factory. So in the end, you have 3 factories building here with 3 different engineers. Okay, let's continue a little bit. Slow down the time, because like I said in the beach tutorial as well, you kind of get around 245 to 3 mass from the middle. So I just spawn an engineer here. I'm gonna reclaim around 1200, around 1500 power, I said, sorry, 1500 mass for the air, because every spot is getting an average 1500 mass from it. So I have an idling engineer here, this one, yeah. It kind of irritates me all the time with the idling engineer. So let's speed it up. So what's kind of necessary for my build next is that I start off not with building actually those 2 maxes to tech 2, I build this one to tech 2. It's about what I do later on. I'll explain it later then. So, also my first engineer, after he made a hydro, he's gonna make an air factory here. So, don't stop the engineer, needs to reclaim and build maxes, very important. My second engineer, which we're building these 2 maxes, is gonna be on assist on this engineer afterwards, so he'll help building this air factory. Okay, let's go on, continue. So now I have the 7 PA chance. It's enough to actually upgrade this max. So what I also do is another NG around here to reclaim these trees, so I get enough power when the mass comes in. And with the rest of the engineers, I put them here again. That's kind of necessary. I'm only doing 2 engineers away from the main from the first land factory, because I will need later on engineers to make close to the F factory when it's tech 2, so I can make the pigeons. What I'm also doing is, after I start building the factory, I also queue it up to tech 2 immediately with the engineer which built it on assist. So I have 2 engineers actually assisting the F factory to build the tech 2 factory. Also, attack move out of the factory, queuing up 6 engineers. Let's say 1 engineer, 3 scouts, another 5 engineers. So on assist on this one, and this one assists this one then. Okay, let's continue. And around this time the mid-mask is coming in, so I'm gonna reclaim like this, because there's always a little bit of delay between the mass income which you get. So I'm assisting this one, then I'm assisting this one, and now I can kind of tell you why I'm building these two first, because you see, I don't have any power struggle right now, due to the fact that I'm reclaiming so much with the engineers, and I don't actually make the air factory yet to Tech 2. Later on, you get an issue if you upgrade these two first, because as you can see, this max costs 61 power, this one only 50. And with the air factory upgrading to Tech 2, it kinda gets a little bit power intensive, so that's why I'm also having these engineers reclaiming already the trees. So I'm gonna make this, this, and this. So as you can see now, my power is going really quick down because I'm upgrading the rest of the 3 maxes right now. And with 4 max, if pigeons around, costs only 46 mass, so you save 15 power per second. It does not sound that much, but it actually is kind of good and necessary, because as you can see, I'm going really quick down on power, and it's kind of hard. Well, sometimes my reclaiming engineers stop. Oh, for some reason I didn't queue up here one. Okay, now I'm really hard power stalling, so I either pause. Okay. Don't forget to build a max like I did right now. That's kind of terrible for a tutorial, but you know, it always happens. So that's also good that I have an engineer next to it, so I can just build it if I forget it. So move all these engineers again to the trees and to the trees over and over again. So I had a little power stall, but it's fixed now, and yeah, you can avoid it with pausing a little bit of engineers who will build with pausing these engineers or something, or pausing maxes. That way you can save it. What you want to do next is the land factories. You want to move, put a tag move out of the factory and build reclaiming engineers. What I'm also doing is I'm putting the engineers on assist on the factory, so you get the power from it. So now we have the engine. Next stages, we have the engineer now, the 2-1. And you see, that's why I like to have these engineers close by, so I can just put them on assist and make the engineer and so on. So let's unpause it. With the eco manager, if I would activate it, it would automatically pause everything so I don't stall mass. I mean, my build is kind of not perfectly optimized yet, but it's a good one you can start with. Okay, let's continue a little bit. It's like, if I don't make these, actually making scout drains a lot of power, and if I don't make these, it's kind of cheaper, but you should make some scouts at least to scout your opponent. You can also make it before you go Tech 2. The next thing is, yeah, I'm kind of power stalling hard, but that's because of the mass I have in storage, and yeah. But you kind of want the pigeon as fast as possible, to be honest. So, I mean, if you care about a good eco balance, that's not too good what I'm doing, but in this case, it's okay, it's acceptable at least. So, now I've at 5:55 my first pigeon done. What I'm doing now, or 5:57, okay. What I'm doing now is I upgrade my res on my commander already, putting one engineer on assist on the commander and pausing my commander. So the engineer uses the power which I can't use already for building the pigeon on making the res. So, and my engineers are keep reclaiming trees, so I get enough more power. I mean, if you struggle power, you can just go pause the engineer again, and then you have enough power, and you kind of can play with it a little bit. If you unpause it again, it drains a lot of power, but once you have no mass anymore, it's fine, because you see, now you don't have any power. Once you finish your second pigeon, which you build immediately after the first one, you unpause your ACU, because as you can see, it was over 4 minutes, now it's 1 minute 22. So 1 minute 22, that 1 minute 20, that's around 8 minutes. My rest finishes around 8 minutes. And then I can make my A rest, which would finish around 8:30, 8:40, 8:45, let's say 8:45. And then I can have ASF latest with double rest at 9:30, which is kind of okay-ish. It's not, it isn't really the fastest one, but it's really good for, at least for for beginners it's really strong one, because usually beginners take much longer. So you just adjust all the engineers all the time with reclaiming, with the attack move. You can also put like attack move here and split up the groups, so you have a faster reclaims on different areas. And what you mainly need to do is check what your opponent is doing right now and focus on finishing your res. Like you see, 50 seconds left, so around 8 minutes I have my res done. I mean, if you say, okay, maybe I can test putting another engineer on it, but I do have quite a lot of mass right now, and not the power, it drains a lot of power, so don't put another engineer on assist, because once you have this real power stall I have right now, you get no mass. If you have a little bit of mass start, power start, you always get a mass, like now. But if you have no energy in your storage, you don't get any mass, so it's good to adjust it and pause it from time to time, so you don't fully drain all the E. So, and also if when you can see when the trees are going kind of out, you kind of stall more E and thing on. Next thing is, what you want to do is, when you have idling engineers, like here and these, already move them back to the air factory, because you want more build power on your air factory, and so you can upgrade it faster to Tech 3. So I finished my res now. Now I'm putting my A-res on. I put all 91 engineers next to it on assist on the commander, because now I have a lot of power as extra, and starting to reclaim already my Tech 2 Pigeon. Because the Tech 2 Pigeon gives you the mass to finish the res, and the A-res, and the res actually gives you the mass to finish it as well. So if you take the mass you get from the res, and the mass you get from the pigeons, you can finish your res pretty quick. You see, now I'm stalling mass. Now I get the mass from the pigeon, and it's going all in the A-res. And the A-res is going really fast, like this 20 seconds till it's done. So you want to put more engineers back to your F factory, but you also want to keep some around on your other and maxes, so you can upgrade them. So see, if you place an pigeon further away, you can also control K it instead of reclaiming it, but control K and reclaim them one after another. So now you want to put every engineer you have next by on upgrading the air factory. With the ACU you can actually reclaim the max the T1 pigeons right now and upgrade maxes, well, because you have 1800 mass start, it's basically 2 maxes, 2 tick 2 maxes. But you don't want to upgrade too many at once, because you think, oh, you have much mass, I can upgrade it. But, you also need some mass to upgrade the air factory, because the tick 3 air factory is not that cheap either. And the main mass income is your ACU with 40 mass right now, so it's half your mass income already. So, and reclaiming this pigeon gives you the mass to finish these Tech 2 maxes in my build order. As you can see, now I have a little power stall, mass stall, but it's fixed already, so and 20 is acceptable. Now I have around 10 minutes ASF out, which is acceptable on normal build. And I have 6 maxes so far, and I can upgrade the rest. And just keep on upgrading your maxes to Tech 2. Keep on upgrading them, and one after another with engineer on support, so you finish them really quick, because you need a full Tech 2 eco to compete in air. And after the really hard airplay starts after you have Tech 2, because you need to scout a lot of your opponent and see if he's going eco or if he's spamming air. You can be the aggressive one and start a lot of air and don't go make a Tech 3 max. So you be the aggressor, and but then you also need to fight, because once your opponent gets ahead in eco, it's kind of hard to catch up if you don't fight in air. So, and you always want to keep making your max Tech 2. And now I finished the next one, and I'm already upgrading this one. And you want a lot of engineers around your air factory, like I have right now. I've currently, in terms of build power, I around have 70 engineers in terms of build power around the air factory, due to the fact that I've also some Tech 2 ones next to it. So, and always keep moving your engineers to the next max, so they can build it to Tech 2. You can already like upgrade it and pause it, so the engineers only upgrade it, and so on. So I placed my move command like here, but from airport factory you should place it more like here, so you have your interceptors not so far off position, because usually you have around vision like in this area, and this area, like let's say like this area. And when you have your ASF like here, the enemy can fly from this direction and attack here and kill your stuff, your ASF. So put them here, and please don't do me the favor and put patrol move like this out of your factory. I'll show you in a second. Also, when you have res and ARES, your beach and rock will res as well, and also make like 5 storages and start making mass storages as well, energy storages and mass storages. You want like 5 mass storage and surround all your Tech 2 maxes with mass storages once you finish all the Tech 2 max upgrades. The thing with the mass storage is an ASF costs about 40,000 power, so you have 1/10 of it in storage, and another storage gives you 5k extra power. So if you have the 40k actually in storage, you'd never stall E. And if you have enough build power on the air factory, it could actually happen that you stall E because you build the ASF faster than you have actually power income. So don't do that. Be smart. Build power storages. I sometimes forget them as well, so don't worry about it. Okay, what I want to show you next is when you patrol it, you know, your ASF split up quite a bit. You have like them flying like this, and you don't have that good intel at the early stage. So the enemy comes in here, attacks, and can get behind your ASF, or just kill the ones who are further behind. Like your main group is here now, and he goes in there and kills these 3 intercept ASF in the early game. It's pretty good to have an advantage of 3 ASF, so he can win air pretty easy. So don't patrol them, please. Just put them on move command here. You either let them just lie on the ground, or if you really want to patrol them in like this, make like this little triangle, and you will see your ASF are really close together, so he can't just insta-rape some single ASF, just so you're safe. But I'd still suggest just let them lie, maybe back in your base. It's the safest way, so you can see him coming over an enemy base, and you can see him coming over your base, and you can fight. What I want to teach you about the airplay, it's if you don't know how to micro ASF, just press stop when you're in a fight. Let's say my scouts now. Oh wait, we can. Okay, let's say my scouts now are enemy air. And let's say these are the enemy ASF, and I've mine ASF or the ASF. So he has his ASF here. If you move in with your interceptors and you actually catch him, you're at this stage, press stop. When you meet his ASF, press stop, and the ASF split up and attack and fight pretty easy. If you have more, you easily win. If you have less and the opponent micros, you still can kinda win, but it's close, but you still probably win. If it's micro versus micro, you have less and you're worse than micro, you automatically lose. I mean, that's pretty simple. If you want a micro, the easiest way to actually micro your ASF is flying in circles. It sounds retarded, but that's pretty much, I mean, it's more to a micro, but the most about it is being able to fly in circles. So I make it slower. So you see the ASF turning now down left. You just move them up here, so they turn right. You don't have, if you move too far, like left, so, and then they automatically turn left again. So just don't go too far to the right. Always keep it like that. Okay, now because of the one command they already turned like that. You see they split up, and it can be horrible if you don't know how to micro them. Just make it easy, just keep it simple and fly in circles. And that's why also AI player have a lot of APM, because they click like this all the time when they fight air. Or they just press stop. Also, don't forget to make text remaxes. At latest minute 14, I'd say make a text remax if you don't have complete air control and raping enemy opponent with a strat. Make a few text remaxes as well. Like, I 5k mastered right now, so that's pretty much enough to instantly upgrade a max to text 3. Also is, if you may have an engineer text 3, I just spawn one for now. You want to build like your air factories and pigeons like this, because a pigeon gives you 2500 power, but it also lowers the cost of making ASF really a lot. And then making an ASF costs you 1400 power. You can reduce it by half if you have it surrounded by 4 pigeons. Like an air factory surrounded like this one costs only 700 power then per second. So you lower the cost of an ASF from 40,000 to 20,000 power, which is quite good and which is quite necessary, to be honest. So I think that's mainly it for my Setons air build part. More tutorials are coming soon, but for now I'll start off with the beach, then the air player, then the front, and then the rock. So next is gonna be the front play, and I hope you enjoyed it again, and I hope you're going to watch my 3rd and 4th starter tutorial for Setons as well. If you like it, subscribe, and so I know that you like it, so I know if I should make another more advanced tutorial. So for the stage after 10 minutes, build order build, because at 10 minutes it actually starts the real game on Setons. And there is a lot of mid-game play, which is kinda important to know as well. So let me know, and then we'll see. Hope you enjoyed it again, and see you in the next tutorial.